When we came on the air last Sunday from Philadelphia, the WikiLeaks email dump was erupting. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was being pushed out of her job. Bernie Sanders was getting booed for backing Hillary. Not exactly the storyline the media had expected.
Immediately, right now, we have got to defeat Donald Trump, and we have got to elect Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine.
It's a stunning thing to be at a convention and see people stand up on their feet, take both thumbs throughout the night, point them downward, cup their hands, and yell boo all night long.
That's right.
This doesn't happen.
This just isn't the way they wanted to start the convention. They wanted to show contrast to what they said was the chaos of the Republicans.
Things reached a point where an ad-lib line from Sarah Silverman became big news.
To the Bernie or bust people, you're being ridiculous.
Donald Trump hijacked some of the headlines, holding a marathon press conference and contrasting that with the Democratic nominee.
So it's been 235 days since crooked Hillary Clinton has had a press conference. And you as reporters who give her all of these glowing reports should ask yourselves why.
The media lens soon focused on the big speeches and the first woman to win a major party's presidential nomination.
What a moment it was at the beginning where we saw a woman, a mother, a grandmother take to the stage and hug her daughter and accept the presidential nomination of her party.
Well done. She managed to do a very difficult thing, being soft yet strong at the same time.
And she didn't give a great speech tonight. She did not give a great speech tonight, but she hit some ground that is very, very valuable to her.
Joining us now here in Washington to analyze the campaign coverage, Kelly Riddell, Deputy Opinion Editor at The Washington Times. Susan Faricio, Chief Congressional Correspondent for The Washington Examiner. And Joe Trippi, Fox News contributor and a Democratic strategist. Kelly, the press consensus was Hillary Clinton, not a great orator, but it was a pretty good speech, thematically an optimistic speech. Do the media grade her on a curve?
I think they definitely grade her on a curve. I mean, I think the media actually jumped a shark this week in terms of just how enthusiastic they were about the Democratic convention, in contrast to how they judged the Republican convention. Basically,
could that possibly be because the Democratic convention was better run and better produced?
Well, let's just take the Reagan angle. After Donald Trump's speech, everyone said he abandoned Reagan, he's doom and gloom, and Hillary Clinton took up the Reagan mantle, and she was so optimistic. What they're completely neglecting to say is in 1980, Ronald Reagan actually ran a very dark campaign. His 1980 convention speech was gloomy, where he talked about grave threats to the nation, how we're on unprecedented calamity if we elected Democrats. It was only in '84 where there was sunshine in America, morning in America.
He was running for re-election.
Yeah, so they leave that out, and that's dishonest.
Susan, the press seemed to like Hillary Clinton's mockery of Trump better than the case she made for herself.
That was a highlight for the Democrats throughout the convention, not just Hillary Clinton, but others who came forward, like Barack Obama, who were able to attack Trump. I think they all actually did a really good job of attacking him, and I think that was a stronger...
If Bill Clinton did a good job of attacking, and if Barack Obama did a good job of attacking, and if Hillary Clinton did a good job of attacking, then do you disagree that this was somehow the press jumping the shark?
I think they were right about that, but what the press did not focus on about Clinton's speech was the fact that what David Axelrod said. It really wasn't a great speech. Okay, so she can attack her opponent. What about her agenda? What about her vision? And that was lackluster. I mean, Bill Clinton was falling asleep while she was talking.
Well, he closed his eyes for a minute. I don't know if he was actually snoring. All right, Joe Trippi, Hillary Clinton was on Fox News Sunday today, her first interview on that program in 5 years. Take a quick look at that.
You don't think there's any legitimate reason people would have doubts about your, to use the phrase in the polls, honesty and trustworthiness?
Well, I think that it's fair for Americans to have questions. I hope you'll ask Donald Trump why he is so untrusted by the American people.
I have.
So, the media liked the theme, in my view, unity, stronger together, this is what Hillary Clinton was saying, versus I alone can fix it, which is what Trump said. Is that because it kind of matches the media distaste for Donald Trump?
I don't know about the distaste for Donald Trump. One of the things I think happened here is the Democratic Party at its convention did a better job of dealing with the negatives. And the Republicans did not. And it's about it's about ginning up the coverage. And the way you do that is you take all the pain, all the ugliness, all the booing, and you try to jam it into the first night. That's why Debbie Wasserman Schultz, that's why all this happened.
Wait, talk about making lemonade out of lemons. The entire thing imploded because of the hacked emails, and you're indicating that it was some kind of plan to clear the schedule for the last 3 nights.
No, you move it all up. No, what I'm saying is like Bernie Sanders, whether he's going to be good or bad, you put him on Monday. You don't do what they did with Ted Cruz and put him later in the... you take all the things that you think could go wrong, and you try to get them over on day one, and that's what happened here. And the reason the Republicans got worse coverage is because for some reason they spaced it out. They got
I would say that the protesters, the Bernie Sanders supporters, did not go away. They did not go away after Monday night. They were there throughout the convention, but their coverage ended by the media after Monday. It was a headline on Monday, then on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it was like as though these protesters in the streets of Philadelphia had gone away and they weren't burning flags. They weren't, and you had to look at the conservative news sites to actually get that coverage. The mainstream just wanted to.
We got lucky. There were rainstorms and things that kind of like
in the hall. Even when Hillary Clinton was speaking, you could still hear boos from the Bernie backers, but you couldn't hear it on TV. But was the press right to then turn the page to the big speeches, President, Vice President, First Lady, and of course Hillary Clinton herself?
Well, if you look at the way they covered the Republican convention, where they talked about some of the headlines here, we have convention fury and a divided party. This was the RNC. Now, I was at the RNC, and I spent a lot of my time on the convention floor at both conventions every night. And I will tell you, the divide and the tension was far, far worse for the Democrats. It's not being reported that way, though. And I think it's because when you watch it on television, or if you watch it from the press stands where a lot of the reporters stayed, you really get a different picture of what's going on. If you spend time with the delegates, sitting with them, talking to them, following them around, trying to get at the heart of the matter, the divide and the tension, the anger, and the idea that they might abandon their own party was very significant with the Democrats, and it seemed a lot more superficial with the Republicans. That's just my viewpoint from the convention floor.
You know, what struck me, Joe, is that Tim Kaine, Clinton's running mate, just like Mike Pence, Trump's running mate, both got totally overshadowed at these conventions. It got very little attention. But these were, I think most people would say, pretty good speeches, President Obama, Michelle Obama, Bill Clinton. But does the press get too wrapped up in what, you know, the candidate's spouse or the outgoing president says, as if they can carry the nominee to the finish line?
Yeah, I think, well, we put way too much emphasis on these conventions and what happens to them in the first place.
You do? Go crazy?
Yeah. Well, Mike Dukakis came out of his convention with a 16-point lead. I don't remember President Dukakis. So every speech, everything bad that happens, the Melania plagiarism, I mean, all this stuff that just drives through the cycle, news cycle after news cycle, and it ends up not having a whole lot to do with anything. It does set a foundation where the candidate has a better chance of sort of reintroducing themselves in a way, and I don't think either speech, Trump or Hillary's, you know, is going to solve any of their problems in one speech or in one convention.
Well, I slightly disagree with you, because Hillary Clinton's been in the public eye for now a quarter century. Everyone knows her, and half of the public doesn't like her, according to the polls. Her vision is pretty much cemented with the American public. I don't believe Trump's is.
Well,
I believe
turn that to the coverage.
Turning it to the coverage.
She's reintroducing herself again.
But she can't reintroduce herself.
Some of you don't know what to make of it.
I know, and the way that the press just feeds into that. Oh, here's a new Hillary Clinton. Here's a new Hillary Clinton after what?
That was a great admission for her to do at that.
It was a great admission. I was hoping it would be followed by something personal as opposed to just reciting a family.
Or a fairy tale romance by Bill Clinton.
Let me blow the whistle. I want to turn you all to what ended up being sort of a big surprise story coming out of this convention. And that was Kaiser Khan, the Muslim father of the Army captain who was killed in Iraq. The last-minute addition to the program, they didn't know that he was going to speak. And this got so much attention when he said, Donald Trump, have you read the United States Constitution? Since then, this guy's become a media hero, and of course our hearts go out to him and his wife. Page one of the New York Times. Today, he was on Meet the Press today and CNN State of the Union. Today's headlines: responding to Trump firing back at the Khan family. New York Times, Trump belittles Muslim family of slain soldier, drawing ire. Washington Post, Trump stirs outrage after lashing out at Muslim parents of dead U.S. soldier. Let's take a look at how Donald Trump did respond on ABC's This Week, and Mr. Khan appearing on Meet the Press.
His wife, if you look at his wife, she was standing there. She had nothing to say. Maybe she wasn't allowed to have anything to say.
The way he showed disrespect towards the Gold Star, mother of this country, that says it all.
Your wife.
My wife.
Do you think he's gotten so much attention? It was a moving moment at the convention, no question about it, but because a lot of journalists agree with his assessment that Trump is sort of anti-Muslim?
I see this as a style versus substance. The substance of Trump's argument is not that he doesn't like the family or appreciate the fact that their son died fighting for America. Is that the substance of Trump's argument is about we need to vet people coming into this country who might be dangerous to this country, and it's turned into this whole anti-Muslim thing because of the way Trump presented it. He overgeneralized to all Muslims, and that started the whole argument that he's anti-Muslim. Thus, here we are with the whole situation with the Gold Star family and the holding up the Constitution.
Right.
It's not getting at the heart of the issue of what the two candidates disagree about. So the media covers the superficial.
But didn't Trump make it a bigger story by being aggressive toward Kaiser Conference?
That's exactly right. I mean, in other words, this wouldn't be a big story today if Trump hadn't stepped in it again and gone after the family. And now now he creates another cycle where he talks about how he sacrificed even more than
I agree with Joe on that Trump stepped in it today. But the way that the press covers this is Patricia Smith, the mother of a Benghazi victim, was discussed 2 weeks ago at the RNC convention. You know how she was received by the press? When they said, a GQ writer tweeted, "I would like to beat her to death." Later had to apologize for it. MSNBC said that she ruined the night and it's a gross accusation to bring up Benghazi. These are grieving parents that should be treated the same in the light of the media, and they're not.
Pretty stark contrast there. Let me get a break.